on any essentially business project, what are your goals? And then you need to create the metrics that map to those business. And those should be hard and fast business metrics like customer acquisition and customer retention. And from what we've seen in working with the 100 or so clients that we've worked with, it's much, much easier to do that up front, going through the process, because you can force the behavior, you can force the analysis of what are the decisions of what are we going to do, what are we not going to do, and really drive it from what those business goals are. You can still, afterwards go back and say, hey, we've got a successful community, but is it really driving the business? And overlay some metrics to course correct. But it's easier to do that in front.
As a marketer, it's like always looking for referral, because that's new business that comes in further expense. And so I would think that integration of social communities would really improve your customer satisfaction, because people are getting their needs met better. And so you may never know how much referral you get as a result of that. But I think it's a really great benefit for any company. So Andy, I think we might, all three of us have, the SEO guys going to have some interest in this, but I'll let you take the first shot at it. So what's the impact of social media on SEO performance?
So in terms of social media, I guess one of the things about SEO is that social media gives you a venue for generating content and associating the content that you do create with others. So that it's an easy way for you to start creating relevant content. That's an easy way to tap into these segments that you want to get involved in. Now, one of the things as it relates to that is you're putting all this content out there in these other networks. How do you, one, track where it's coming from, and two, how do you make sure the value is retained? So one of the things with that is, if you put all this content in another network, that network goes away. You need to be able to extract that. So one of the things is looking at seeding that content in multiple places. I'd love to get some feedback from the SEO perspective of having multiple content in multiple places, or similar content in multiple places. We keep hearing that's a big no-no, but how do you get around that? In the tracking aspect, from our perspective, one of the things that we recommend using is Vectorel to put it so you can track it. But there's a big debate about, well, what about you put a link someplace and you're running it through Vectorel, and so you have a 301 redirect versus a 307 redirect, or what if does that penalize you? So to be honest with you on that aspect, we don't know the answer to it, so we give you the option of choosing one or the other. Nobody has been able to tell us yet, so I'd love if we have insight on that. Google hasn't called me back yet, so I don't know.
301, what's the 307 redirect?
So a 301 is a permanent redirect. Basically says when you come through, all future traffic goes to this destination from now on. So Google and Yahoo, et cetera, will say, okay, yeah, now instead of going through URL, we're just going to send you directly where you want it to go. A 307 redirect is a temporary redirect. The reason that we actually started doing that in the beginning was that that's what FeedBurner uses and Blogger, which Google owns both of those, and so that would, well, if Google's doing it, surely that must be the better way to go. However, also looking at it, the fact that it's temporary, so if you wanted to change where it points to, so say maybe that content got included because it was on the front page, now it has a new permanent link somewhere, so now you can go and you can edit your URL and redirect to that traffic route, so that way you're maintaining it. Or you might want to repurpose that URL, maybe it's an event where you want to get out at this place or that place, etc. The other thing is for proxy servers, that say IBM as an example, they're a large company with a proxy server. The first time somebody clicks on it, they keep the destination. With URL, we actually, by doing it temporary, they don't cache that. So they always come through us, so your analytics are from here. But again, we don't really know the answer, so we give the option for both, and there's a preference for one goal or the other.
I did the experiment in terms of promoting a giveaway, and I used URL, and I put it out on Twitter, and I put it out through my groups on LinkedIn. I sort of self-selected for success because my LinkedIn groups are all about marketing. But it was like 100 to 1, the response rate. So the cool thing about from a marketing perspective is I'm linking people to a PDF, okay? So I know you can't put tracking code on a PDF and see what happens on your website. But with URL, suddenly you're able to say, look what happened with our PDF templates. So it's a very powerful tool in our arsenal, because people don't want to register, they just want to download. So historically, you haven't really been able to report on the success of that and how you can improve. So in terms of an SEO perspective, a question that we opened up a little bit is the long tail. So when you focus, what we advise clients to do is pick 20 to 30 terms that you're going to work on. and you're gonna see some success on a subsegment of that. You know, think about it as a market basket like stocks, you know. So, you know, you're gonna have some wins and you're gonna have some losses. So you cut your losses, you've got some wins, but how do you improve your performance? So, for the past year or so, we've been developing a dashboard to monitor your performance of your SEO program. So it's an SEO management dashboard. It's not as granular as the practitioner's tool set, but I think eventually we will have a complete tool set for clients. But it lets you look at the performance of those terms. So let's say I've got a term that has good volume and it's at the bottom of the first page. Well, a lot of people really kind of perseverate on rankings. You know, rankings are good, but are they converting? So we may look at terms that have a better chance of converting, or we know convert better. But those terms at the bottom of the first page, if you can move them up 3 or 4 places, you can double the visibility of your site. So things like press releases and articles and links that are specific to that term are what generates some movement there. So like we're already number 2 for SEO dashboard, even though the product's not ready to go to market. So because I want to have authority and history on that term, so I've already started talking about it. Social media is helpful in terms of generating traffic, but maybe it's not always identifiable back to a search term. But the good news in terms of search is that Google's so smart. They know that attorney and lawyer are kind of the same thing. I don't know about law firm or, you know, advocate or, you know, barrister or, you know, other terms that might be in the ontology of that search. But I see over and over again about half of a company's traffic from search on terms that they're not optimized for, but are just kind of happy accidents or related terms. They're just not enough volume to optimize, but the site becomes optimized.
Blogs are great for those happy accidents, right? And that all of that combined and taken together gives you this brand image of much larger than life company. So if you're a brand new company, you know, just out the gate, you don't have that history with your domain name. You don't have the presence of the bigger guys like, you know, we're a startup competing against some very established vendors who've had their domain names for years. So we took a long tail approach, as well as, you know, going after some of the broader search terms. That taken together and that multiplied by the social media effect of YouTube. If you optimize a YouTube page, it goes to the top 5 instantly. So all of that taken together gives you this brand image of being everywhere. We hear that often. You guys are everywhere.
Everywhere. Maybe I see that you're tweeting and I don't see your thumbs.
Yes, I actually decided to live tweet today's panel without my computer, so I hope it doesn't freak anybody out. But there were some thoughts that I knew we'd be talking about, and so I scheduled them in advance. Thank you for retweeting. I tweeted a while back.
So I'd like to go ahead and open it up, questions from the tweet stream and questions from the audience, and see, if you have a question for a particular panelist, just open, then we'll find out. So, yes, ma'am.
Hi, question for Pam. So how do you capture those more valuable leads and turn them into market leads? How do you capture the personal information?
So a number of different ways. You know, I'm a big fan of covering all of my bases, 360-degree, integrated, mark column, that type of thing, and it's no different in the social media world. So as you're mentioning, should you build your own community or go elsewhere? I say all of the above. You know, we go where the customer is, we pull them back to our community as a hub, and then we try to convert them by using offers such as methodologies, like really heavy-duty educational pieces that help them do their job better. So there's some items like white papers we no longer ask for registration on, we just give that away freely. But there are some core pieces of content that are very valuable that we do ask for that information. And then I'm shocked, absolutely shocked at the number of inbound requests for proposals, requests for contact, because of the approach we've taken. You know, people have already had a chance to get to know us as a company.